Hello, my YouTube friends. This is John at Left-Handed Models, and this is a little review of the uh, Tulsa Modelers Show that I attended last weekend. Yes, and on Saturday, and answer to a community question put out by Joe at Joe's Rust Shop. And first, though, I will do the um, community question, and then I'll do the Tulsa show. So it'll be split up if you want to skip one or the other. And first, I want to apologize to Joe at Big Sky Model Workshop because when I do my What Did You Buy Wednesday, I have a tendency to forget to say who had that idea and how good of an idea it is. And that was Joe at Big Sky Model Workshop. But if you're not uh, subscribed to him and give him a like all the time, then you need to go check him out. And the other thing is, okay, let's see now. The community question is the models that modelers should bring back out. And Joe at Joe's new Rust Shop, he right now he's mostly building bodies for slot cars, but he does remarkable weathering jobs. Take a look if you can at Joe's new Rust Shop. Community question is the models that model makers should build, and I have a few. Um, I don't have a lot of cars because most of the cars that I have are ones I want to build, and there's not a whole lot that I don't have except the 6263 Buick Special convertible. I don't have any Buick Specials. They're out of my price range on eBay, and you know, model manufacturers don't have to build 10,000 of something. Just to open that mold back up and build me one. I know they can't do that, but you know, it's a limited run maybe, or something like that. Oh, and that's the other thing is to all the models, trucks, cars, maybe even motorcycles. Yes, motorcycles should be molded in white. Save your money on those colors. We're going to have to paint it anyway, and it's a lot easier to paint one red than it is to paint over red plastic. So that's a big deal. Now, the other thing is that I don't notice, and there may be a hood separate, is the Pro Stocks that had those huge giant hood scoops. I know they've since, you know, the rules have changed, and so the hood scoop can't be that big anymore, which means the intake manifold's not that big either. But Pro Stocks with the large scoops, those were show cars, and I wouldn't mind having one of those. And more current Formula One cars. There are a lot of really old Formula One cars, and then there's the Tamiya type Formula One cars that are they're more current than the the 49 and 50s, but they're not even in the 2010s. And there's a lot of differences in the newer cars, and I realize that that's not a big selling item, and it's probably a lot of work. But it might be such a deal now that they could do like J.R. Salvinos has done and get the manufacturers to send them plans. I know that they won't send them plans of the new ones, but you know, maybe a 5-10-year-old one they might, because those are out there in the public and anybody could buy one and, well, if you had the money, buy one and tear it apart to see what's in it. Now, the other thing that I'd really like to see is motorcycles, specifically the on-off-road type, the KLR 600, 650. It's produced since the 1980s, and last I looked, which was last year, they're still being produced. Pretty much the same motorcycle. A few upgrades, whatever. It's a simple single-cylinder motorcycle, and they haven't really changed in all those years, just a few cosmetics and colors. That would be nice. The other thing is the BMW 1000 through 1250 now, GS motorcycle. There have been some of those produced, and there's some on sale now on eBay for almost $300. I don't think there's any being manufactured at the moment, and we don't have to have the Playboy version or the Dakar version. Just a stock one would be fine. There's a lot of resin stuff if people want to add saddlebags or whatever. The other thing is something that has been built and is now unobtainable is the Suzuki RE5 rotary. I had one, and I wouldn't mind having a model of it. It was not a successful motorcycle by any means, but it's an oddity that people who didn't have one might buy. So that's the full vehicle type deal. Now, the other thing that I'd like to see is some 3D resin, mainly the AMC and Jeep 258 6-cylinder. That was put in countless AMC cars in the 60s and in Jeeps up into the 2000s. I think that the last TJ still had that basic engine. Now it was, fuel injected and had electronic ignition and any improvements to make it emissions compliant, but it was still the same basic block and head. That would be neat. There aren't any available in kit form. There's, the Rubicon doesn't even have the hood open, and there's others that haven't had the hood open, or if they do, there's a V8 in there. Well, there are way more 6-cylinders produced than V8s. Another one is the Pontiac Tempa Slant 4. It was, I had a station wagon with the rope drive shaft, as it was called, and the transaxle in the back, and the little Slant 4. Those engines were really half of a 389, and I know this for a fact because I stretched the timing chain. That timing chain was an exact replacement for the 389. And the gasket set could only be had in a V8 set, and you just didn't use them all. You had an extra head gasket, extra intake manifold gasket, and an extra exhaust gasket because that's the way it was. It was really a neat little engine, and it could be had with a 4-barrel. Didn't produce it for very many years, early 60s. But that would be nice. And wouldn't hurt to put it in a Pontiac Tempest either. And the GMC Truck V12, which that's probably not a common engine. I think it was only produced in the mid-60s for a couple of years. And really what it was 2 of those GMC V6s, and they were huge for a V6. And I actually saw one of these V12s at a swap meet in Duncan, Oklahoma. No, Durant, Oklahoma. And it essentially, it's got 4 valve covers. So it looks like 2 6s that are welded together. And I imagine that's how they did the forms. But anyway, that's stuff I'd like to see made. The engines could all be 3D resin unless a manufacturer sees fit to actually put them in a vehicle, which that would be nice too. And the other thing is the Tulsa show. I was able to get 2 of these medallions. Oh, you probably can't see it because it's probably glaring all over the place. And it says Route 66 Model Expo because this is the 100th year anniversary of Route 66. And from what I gather on the medallion, this one was put out by someone in the club there, or at least in the club was the sponsoring organization, because that's what it says on the top is Tulsa Modelers Forum. So I'm real happy to get that. I got 2 of them on my orange semi-truck got one, and my little shop truck with the junk in the back got one. So I'm real happy with that. That's I couldn't ask for more than that. I know that my models are not, you know, they're not first place or best paint worthy. But anyway, I thought I better come back with all of that. And thanks for watching. And I hope you made it this far. And if you did, then you must really not have anything to do. I'll wait for comments on that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.